Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and welcome back to another cryptocurrency video. And today I wanted to talk about why I am very bullish on Bitcoin in this entire area for a couple of different reasons. Now, if we're looking at this on the daily time scale, the first thing that I notice is this potential golden cross happening, very, very imminently. So if we're looking at this, we're seeing that already the 200 EMA is being used as support, and it's bouncing very clearly off of this, almost like a break, hook, and go situation where, again, it was previously resistance, came up, tested this area, rejected it, ended up breaking out of it, and now using it as support before heading to a new local high up here. But on top of that, you also have the 50 EMA getting ready to cross over the 200 EMA, causing this golden cross on a one-day time scale, which is very, very significant. Because if we zoom out and we look at this at the history of Bitcoin, again, this has only happened a couple of different times. The last time that this happened was in April of 2019, and of course, we saw what happened to the price when it went up from here. Also, I'm looking at this from kind of more a macro perspective, and I'm seeing that the overall downtrend, really no matter how you want to draw this, and I want to talk about this one specifically, but no matter how you want to draw this, I mean, this downtrend is pretty much over. It's pretty much broken out of. If you want to draw it from the all-time swing high to kind of what we have over in here, again, we have if we can draw this, we have our first touch point. You can kind of count this as your second one, our third, and then our fourth, and then actually breaking out of this, and then again coming back and retesting what was formerly resistance, now turns support, also now the 200 EMA on the daily time scale. If you want to draw it a different way and say, okay, well, we actually broke out of this a long time ago, I would still agree with you there, because essentially what that's arguing is that this is the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth touch points in these areas. We can erase that, and we actually came down, broke out of this, and used this as a break, hook, and go. And then since then, we've pretty much been on this rounding bottom, or even inverse head and shoulders, as some were calling it, formation as the bottoming period for Bitcoin, before now it's actually rallying back up towards the upside. Now, I do want to talk about this expanding wedge, or kind of this broadening wedge, as some might call it, but I'll do that just after I finish up that point, because I'm sure that's eating away at some of you guys by not speaking about it yet. But with this actually happening, you can see that with this breakout, if we were to draw it the secondary way, you can see that you see these wicks happening over in here. You see these support candles. You do have a little bit of choppy action, but I think that was just to form the bottoming reversal for Bitcoin to be able to head back up from here. So for the most part, I think no matter how you draw this bottoming out trend, Bitcoin is broken out of this short-term downtrend that it was in from the later part of last year, and now it's actually heading back upwards. Now, the most key and important thing here is that Bitcoin hits a new high. I think it's definitely on pace to do that right now. It certainly doesn't look weak. The volume's been growing pretty well here. The volume's been pretty decent. But on top of that, you actually have ourselves respecting this broadening wedge pretty well. Now, we haven't touched support in a while. It's, again, a little bit weird to draw support because we only have two touches no matter how you really draw this. So if we want to draw it from these two swing lows over here, we just have two touch points. Even if you want to draw it like this is almost more of a channel, of like a rising channel, so to say. But again, even that only has two touch points of support. So there's no like defined support in this area, but there definitely is areas that we could see a retracement, or would expect a retracement to. But the overall macro trend for this, I believe, definitely has reversed. Now, I want to look at the MACD and the RSI on these guys, because again, we can see that this bearish I would say the bearish negativity is drying up on the MACD. Again, we already are seeing this rounding happening over here, and the oscillators are crossing towards the upside now. And then over here on the RSI, we can see that we definitely are pushing into this bullish territory, where we're actually just about to breach and break into this oversold territory up in here. Now, when I say the word oversold, that doesn't mean that it has to sell off at that point. That's literally just the name for this designated area. And as we can see, things can go pretty deep into oversold before seeing any kind of retracement. So the fact that we're only down trying to breach this level is definitely, let me just put this in the right words. What I'm not saying is that we can't go any higher if we get into this oversold territory. We can certainly work our way up here and have, at least another 15, 20 points to the, another 20, 25 points to the upside on the RSI before I even think we need to see a little bit of a downside. And on a daily time scale like that, that could be a matter of quite literally weeks. So, only time will tell, but eventually, obviously, this will see the retracement. I just, we'll have to wait and see if it's going to be up in here. This does look very bullish. If we look at this from a more macro time scale once again, and I can highlight this, we can see these higher swing lows, which is something I talk about a lot on this channel, is these higher swing lows on the relative strength index. What this is indicating to us is that there are lower levels of negative momentum coming into Bitcoin upon a swing low towards the downside, and that every time this happens, the bears are getting increasingly weaker. So it was very obvious that this was bottoming out and that the bears were getting weaker and that the bulls were kind of on the vice versa side of that, getting increasingly stronger as the bears got weaker. So we're still in this trend for the most part. I don't think that we're going to just come crashing down right here. Again, anything's possible because we are kind of at the top of that wedge, but I would say the overall macro of Bitcoin here is definitely very, very bullish. For the most part, it looks like Bitcoin, if I can put this up on a big chart, for the most part of Bitcoin over here, it looks like it has almost completely bottomed out. I do believe that this is the bottom for Bitcoin upon this swing low. So 6,500, something that we could never see again on Bitcoin. I'm not completely closed-minded to the idea of reaching these areas ever again, but I definitely think that it is more probable that we won't see these areas for hopefully a long time, as Bitcoin is working its way back up here, especially if Bitcoin can break this area of 14K. I think it could be a very, very long time, if not, indefinite, that we never see these prices again on Bitcoin. And I don't want, and the reason that I say that, I don't want to cause FOMO. I don't want to force people to buy it in. Again, this isn't legal, financial, or tax advice in any way, but strictly my opinion, and that the trend of Bitcoin here is looking very, very good. This is a higher swing low on a macro time scale for the most part, as long as this keeps on going, which it looks like it will. Again, especially if this golden cross happens, it's only something that we've seen a couple, like 2 or 3 times in the history of Bitcoin, maybe 3 or 4 times at most, because we had our once last year, our once before the bull run of 2017, 2018, and I believe there was one other one before that. So for this to happen for about the 4th time in the history of Bitcoin, it's pretty significant. Every time that this has happened, we've seen the implications of this. I want to do another video on this to kind of dig into depth about the history of the golden cross and what this means for Bitcoin, but it's, needless to say, the last time this happened, price rose, and again, the time before that, prices rose, even more significantly than the previous one. So overall, guys, I just kind of wanted to make this video highlighting that, my views on Bitcoin, because I still get asked this, even though I have taken a little bit of a break and been gone for a while. The overall macro of Bitcoin is still bullish in its entirety right now, and I definitely do think that this is the bottom and that we're going to be heading upwards from here. Now, some people are going to disagree with me, and I'm completely okay with that, but this is just my opinion, and I do believe the macro of cryptocurrency to be getting, and really the entire sentiment to be growing and getting stronger. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that isn't just technicals, but I do love charts, so I wanted to make sure I highlight this to back up my beliefs, along with some fundamentals that are, again, behind the scenes. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. If you guys want to see more content, make sure to drop me suggestions in the comments section down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.